So good morning, everybody. We're here to talk to you today about QH2O, which is a partner project with Hydrating Humanity, which is also part of the nonprofit sector, which helps donate money towards providing those wells in Africa and providing clean water for all. So I'm Oliver.
I'm Catherine.
I'm Jackson.
I'm Will.
And I want to propose you with a little issue. I'm going to ignore the fact that you just got a bottle of water. Pretend we're at a restaurant, all right? This is FCDS for the sake of it. I'm your server. I'm Oliver. Be happy to serve you today. Here's some water for you.
Yeah.
All right. I'm just going to put that on your table. It's there. Feel free to do what you want with it. But you may or may not be aware that there are millions of people in Africa that are facing water issues that don't have access to clean water. And with a helpful contribution of 25 cents, you can help provide the funding of a clean well and work towards providing clean water. So would you be willing to donate 25 cents today?
Absolutely.
Okay, perfect. Well, that water's yours. It's there to keep. Might take back a second, actually. So to give you a little background on QH2O, what they've done so far and who they are.
Okay, so you just participated in QH2O, kind of. We're not an official partner restaurant, but we did donate a quarter. So when you go to a restaurant, usually the server might bring you out a tap water, and usually that water is free. But this project asks that you donate just a quarter, 25 cents, to building a well in Africa for people who don't have access to clean water. This money goes directly from the partner restaurants to Hydrating Humanity through like a money order or something. They keep a tally of how many quarters they collect, and then they send the money right on over. We have 5 partner restaurants so far, and they have gone towards funding $3,500 artesian spring wells mostly. And just 5 restaurants have raised $300,000 in the past couple years. So that's an average of like $60,000 per restaurant, which is a lot of money considering the fact that it's just quarters. And so we have a goal of getting 500 partner restaurants to join in this project because we think it's a really great idea, and we think that it's really great for restaurants to get on board with.
Research. We have done some social experiments inside the school in the form of advertising. Oliver and all of us, we've put up posters around school, mainly in high traffic areas, in which we've basically given a number, and the text says, did this poster catch your attention? And we put one outside the senior lounge, we put one in the cafe, we put one in the hallways, and what we saw is that in high traffic areas and in like entrances to like cafes or rooms or classrooms, that's where the most people texted the specific numbers for those posters.
And to give you a little background on that too, it was there were 3 different types of posters, like you said. We had a large poster, so a full sheet of paper, a half-size poster, and then like a super tiny slip paper. And the statistics were a little shocking, actually. It was nearly 60% of people, there were 35 or 40 people who actually texted my phone number with the number that corresponded to the poster, saw the smaller poster. Which I guess, because all the posters were in high traffic areas, and I guess in some ways it wasn't accurate because you don't want to pull out your phone and text, my phone number 1, 2, or 3. But for all the people who did, it was very one-sided towards the smaller poster grabbing your attention.
Wow.
So the effects of advertising are crucial and essential in, say, you put up a sticker on your door of your restaurant saying, we support QH2O. Size may or may not matter, but it's also where that poster is located that is visible.
We also reached out to the owner of Midtown Cafe, and we asked him if he would like to participate in QH2O, and we explained what QH2O is, and he respectfully declined. And we realized, and he explained to us that he didn't feel comfortable imposing on his customers to donate. And we realized that it probably had to do with demographics. To, ask to donate in a mom and pop restaurant or an independent restaurant is one thing, but a cafe, people go in there, they're on their laptops. It's kind of like Starbucks, they want to get work done. They're in there to get a quick bite to eat. It's not really, not really the demographics. We also reached out to Rucker Johns, and the owner of Rucker Johns gave us some wonderful advice. He talked to us about how effective his waiters and waitresses are because they're enthusiastic. They get, they don't impose, they propose to donate.
So we're looking for targeted restaurants. We believe, from the information we got from Midtown Cafe, that we're looking for restaurants that always have a changing customer base. So instead of having the same old guy walk in every day and ask for that 25 cents, it'd be easier to ask some guy who just walked in, who we've never seen before, for that 25 cents. And we believe that wouldn't impose such a problem on them. We are also looking for restaurants that have charitable affiliation. So I know Chick-fil-A sponsors the Ronald McDonald House. So restaurants with that affiliation, we are also looking for.
Awesome. And so moving forward, we found that restaurants or waiters or servers that give you that face-to-face connection, that provide a story, that offer that engagement, are make people more willing to donate that 25 cents. So when we were brainstorming Chick-fil-A, I actually work at Chick-fil-A, and I see many people who they pay in cash, and you pay I think it's $6.39 for a #1 combo. So if I were to walk up to you and you were to order a #1 combo, and I give you your water, and you're not going to pay any money for that water, and then I'm going to lay down 61 cents, right? What are you going to do with that 61 cents? It's going to get lost in your car, It's going to get lost in the washing machine, It's going to get lost in many places. And we've talked to Chris Johns when we asked him. He said it's targeted toward restaurants with servers, restaurants with where that connection can be made more easily through a one-on-one connection. But what if you were at Chick-fil-A, you ordered that water's free, now you have a handful of coins and there's a bucket right there to dump it into. Now you've provided towards that funding in Africa, you felt no obligation because you have a bunch of coins in your hand, it's there. And so that whole connection, that whole convenience is also super important, super crucial when talking about donating money. And for credit card transactions as well, I know Bank of America implemented a while back the rounding up idea. So instead of paying $6.39, you can pay $7. And all that extra money is going towards QH2O. And the logistics of that are simple. Changing the machinery in the restaurants is also pretty easy. It's just downloading the software. So moving forward, my proposal towards QH2O would be to target restaurants that are more able to offer that connection, that have a transient customer base. So customers who aren't coming in all the time, you're not asking them to donate 25 cents every time they walk in. Would propose less of an obligation, would be more sympathetic, with more talking with you than talking at you. Jackson's idea of propose rather than impose, and that we feel would be the best way to move forward with QH2O. Thank you.
All right. Well, I thought that was great insight about a more transient demographic, because this organization has been an incredible partner for us. It's been amazing, but as you guys know, he is the champion, right? It's his restaurants. There's nothing like having a champion for your own cause, because then you can implement that in your restaurants or your business or wherever you want there. So we know that we need champions. We need champions both in terms of presenting and owners. If that resonated with the owner of Midtown Cafe and he loved the idea, maybe he had some affiliation with friends or his church that had to do with clean water, he might be a lot more open to doing that regardless of whether he thought that was a fit. It's kind of like you make it fit if it resonates with you as a business owner. With that in mind, I think it kind of answers at least some of my questions in terms of the fit for repeat customers. That was something that I actually struggled with in terms of seeing how that would work from the outside. I think that's a great idea, is finding those maybe vacation type restaurant places along the coast where you're constantly getting new people, so that they don't get tired of being asked if they want to donate a quarter for their water. So good insight. I don't think I have any questions. Yeah, that was good.
Yeah, it was interesting. Of course, you would have known this, but the owner of Midtown Cafe is the one guy, he's a great guy, that I'd actually talked to about this, and Chris Johns came up and talked to him and presented this whole thing to him. So this is round 2 for him. So it sounds like he gave you the same answers he gave us, which I understand, but just wasn't a good fit for him. But I wondered if you talked to any other restaurant owners, or if there are students that you know here, maybe their parents perhaps own a restaurant, if maybe they may have a different feel.
We do know that there are several restaurants in the Triad area that have owners whose kids go to FCDS.
Yeah.
Restaurants like East Coast Wings or 1703, which is actually an upscale restaurant,
Yeah.
which could be more of a transient audience base, or transient customer base in the sense that if you're spending $200 for a meal, you're not going to spend $200 every week. So that could be more of a, reaching out and moving forward. And I've kind of talked about the idea in a way at Chick-fil-A, having
Right.
formally proposed it to my boss, but I feel that, him being a charitable guy, being affiliated religiously and charitably, he would not be opposed to it. So that's how we've reached out so
And
far.
I know the owners of McAnelli's and the owners of, well, yeah, I know the owners of McAnelli's,
Yeah.
and I'm planning on meeting with them in person probably this weekend or next week, so.
That's great.
Yeah.